we are going to do a revitalization to this wig right here. We're gonna cut her and get her together. She's dull, she's staticky, she's lost a lot of her density. You saw the before. I just washed it with only conditioner and kind of detangled it. You always want to use a detangling brush. This Exotica, she lost a lot of her density. But let me tell y'all, sometimes less density is more natural looking, because you know, not all of us have thick, full, luscious hair. The reason I haven't put any product in it because I want to cut it, and I don't want any product to interfere with my scissors. So we'll just wait on that. So now let me show you how to get this thing cut here. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna place the wig. Let me see. And I don't want to cut it too short in the back, because then you'll be able to see. I've done this before. You'll be able to see, like your cap, you'll be able to see that it's a wig. So you want to make sure you keep it long enough. And normally when you cut a wig, you cut it on the person's head so you can see where you want it. But in this case, I'm doing it on myself. So I'm going to establish a guideline. Everything is going to be pulled back when I cut it, so that's perfect. So I only need to establish one guideline. If you weren't going to cut everything in one unit to the back, then you can establish a guideline on the sides as well. But in this case, we're just going to do it in the back. So I'm going to grab out the piece from the back, give it a nice brush. Can't go bob short, but we can definitely go pretty short. So I kind of wanted to sit a little bit underneath my neck. So I'm going to establish that. The rubber band is going to sit about right there. It's going to sit about right there. That's perfect. Okay. So now I got the guideline established. Everything's pretty aligned. We want to make sure that the wig is aligned exactly like how it would look on my head. After I established my little guide, I cut it underneath the rubber band. Now you see this is already parted. What I did was I took my comb, went straight down, separated that back from the front. Did the same thing on the other side from that part. Went straight down with the comb and separated it out. And now I have the front piece in the clip. Okay. Now this unit, it only has that one parting space. So if you are working with a unit that has bigger parting space, then you do the same exact thing. You just part it down the middle, separate the front from the back. Now we're going to just take our fingers so we can have lesser hair to work with. The density is low on this one, so I could just do 2 sections. Scissors in our hand, and we'll have our comb. And we'll start out where I cut that guideline. Since it was curly, it did kind of, when I cut off the red rubber band, it did kind of give me a couple of different lengths there. But I'm going to follow the longest one. I'm going to follow the longest guideline that it gave me. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it. And I'm going to leave the hair straight down when I cut this section. Remember, do not pull it too tight. Do not pull it too tight because it does have a curl pattern. And when you cut too tight, then pull it too tight. When you let it go, it will spring back up. We're gonna pull everything to the middle, and it's gonna give us a nice shape when we do that. You want to be cutting from the first, in front of your first two knuckles. If you go too far, then it's gonna mess up the length. Pulling that to the back. Everything's aligned in the middle. And now I'm going to cut this piece. Same thing on this side. I am going to go ahead, bring everything to the middle. And see, I don't want to keep cutting past that area right here. I want to stop. Once I stop, I'll comb it and bring it to the front end. That way I can go ahead and cut it then. Now we're going to go ahead and bring everything up. Back up. I lift my head straight up now. And I'm just gonna go in and just check everything. Any loose ends, I wanna take care of that. Just in case I miss anything or if it's just not looking even. Okay. And I'm gonna use my detangling brush because that is easier when you're working with a wig. Okay. Already cut my first section, and now I'm gonna cut my second section. And once you're on the second section, to create a nice shape, you're gonna, instead of going straight down this time we are going to go, we're gonna lift it up, straight out. And instead of cutting that whole thing, I'm gonna take me a little section out. I'm gonna take me a little section out. And that same guideline is gonna be our piece that we use again. So you don't wanna use too much hair because you want to be able to see your guideline. And I can see mine. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. Okay. So now we created that next guideline. Comb it. Cut it. Now we have our next, we're going to take our next section, and with this we're going to be doing the same thing as we did before, bringing everything to the center. And I can see my guideline underneath there, so I'm just going to follow that. Bring my next section over. Straight out. And it's like too far over. See how that's too far over? Now I'm gonna comb it again and grab it with my fingers to where it's in the front now. So now I can go ahead and cut it. Do that again. Make sure you're holding your arms the exact same way that you did before, so you won't get a different length. Okay, now that section is done. So now we're just gonna go through, comb it down, make sure everything looks good. And it's getting its bounce back. Definitely getting its bounce back. See how the hair is definitely getting its bounce back? And then if you can see, that with us pulling everything to the center, it leaves the center short and then it leaves the sides longer. Same steps. Same steps for the front. But I'm going to take a little section so that it's not so much. But we are going to pull it back. And we're going to follow that same guideline. Because we were lifting our arms up. The higher you lift, the more layers you'll create. That's the guideline we'll follow there. Okay, so I did all sides, and look how it did it. When you bring everything back to that center, it's gonna establish the front to be longer, and that's what I want. So I'm gonna go to the sides here. First, I'm gonna go to the back. Just make sure everything looks good back there. Make sure it's that shape, because it's gonna give you that bob shape where everything's longer in the front. And I love that. So now my bob is like, you see how long those strips are? Now I'm gonna establish where I want to cut it. Like if you want to, you're still gonna have that piece in the corner. If you pulled everything back to where it should be, then you're gonna have that shape that goes down that way. And if you don't want that front to be longer, that's when you can cut this part straight. It's gonna be a tad longer, but you can cut it just straight, just like that. There, and you can see it. Well, I used my guide. I went to the part that stayed in my hand. I let all of that fall out. And then the part that stayed in my hand, I used that as the guideline. Using that same method, and make sure all of the hair is in front of my fingers. Okay, see that? Same thing on this side. We use the same method. It's going to match up. So no doubt about it. Everything back to the center where the part is in the middle, up in there, and your body straight aligned with it, even out. And I'm going to follow, see the guideline there, and then my scissors are here. I'm not After I pull it, I release it a little bit. You don't go that far. You don't want to go past here. That's the rule of thumb. Your guideline can sit there though. See how your guideline's sitting there? Your fingers are straight. You're gonna release it a little bit and cut it. Cut that extra little piece I want. And you're gonna check it and just see. There's a little straggler there. Get that. You could even take a piece of the front with both sides just to make sure it matches up, make sure the hair is combed. See that guideline there right here? All of this needs to go to match it up. And it could be like that because my body is not shaped right because I wanted to show you guys. So you always want to make sure your body is correct. It's like facing forward. Your body is always supposed to be aligned with the area that you're cutting. Now it's time to put it on. Here's the moment of truth when we put it on. And see, we may need to do a few little tweaks, but we'll see. Some mousse and a little bit of oil. Now, I can go in here and style it. This video was just to show you that you can definitely, so you gotta get the edges together, but this is to show you that you can definitely revitalize something that's 2 years old. Density is not as good as it was. You can go in and get that baby nice and good, give it a nice fresh cut, and you're good to go. Establish in the back, and then it's a little longer in the front. Like that haircut, y'all. Like, I feel like this is my hair, and I just got a new, well, it is my hair, I bought it, but I just feel like I just got a new fresh haircut, like on my head haircut. See? Oh, hey, we just revitalized. We just rejuvenated. We just revitalized. Yes, queens. That's what we doing. We are revitalizing hair. We are being economical. We are being fabulous. We are taking care of ourselves. We are looking good and we are feeling good. Okay? That is what it's about. Feeling good. And this cut, like this length right here, this makes me feel good. And then I did it myself. What better feeling? Okay? Okay? Okay, the oil and the mousse that revitalize it. And then also with the cut that brings back the curl pattern that was slowly going away. It was so dried out, just sitting there, and we brought her back. Hey, Exotica. Hello. All right, queens, I will see you in the next one. Make sure, and please believe me, make sure you are taking care of yourself. Fabulous. My beautiful, beautiful queens, I will see y'all next time. Mwah.